Do you believe in fate or do you think we have free will?
Hey Abby, do you believe in fate?
I'm not sure. I think we have some control over our lives.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, we can make choices and our actions can lead to different outcomes.
Exactly. But sometimes, things happen that are out of our control and it feels like fate.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But I still think we have the power to shape our own destiny to some extent.
Yeah, I agree. It's a mix of both, I guess.
Yeah, I think so too.
What's your opinion on the death penalty?
Hey Abby, what's your opinion on the death penalty?
I'm against it. I don't think the state should have the power to decide who lives and who dies.
I see your point, but what about those who commit heinous crimes, like murder or rape?
Even in those cases, I don't think the death penalty is the answer. Life imprisonment without the possibility of parole is a suitable punishment.
I understand where you're coming from, but don't you think that the death penalty serves as a deterrent to potential criminals?
There is no evidence to support the claim that the death penalty deters crime. Besides, we should be focusing on rehabilitation and addressing the root causes of criminal behavior instead of just punishing the offenders.
Do you believe in ghosts or the paranormal? Hey Abby, do you believe in ghosts or the paranormal?
It's hard to say. I've never really had any experiences, but I'm open to the possibility.
Really? I'm a total skeptic. I think it's all just people's imaginations running wild.
I can understand that, but I've heard some pretty convincing stories from people I trust.
Well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree on this one.
Fair enough. Hey, did you catch the game last night?
Yeah, it was a great match. I can't believe how close it was.
Right? That was some intense stuff.
What do you think about climate change?
Hey Abby, have you heard about the latest report on climate change?
Yeah, I have. It's pretty scary stuff.
Definitely. I feel like we need to start taking more action to tackle it.
I agree. I've been trying to reduce my plastic use and use public transport more often.
That's great. I've been thinking about doing something similar. Maybe we can start a little group to encourage our friends to do the same?
That's a great idea. We could even organize a beach cleanup day or something.
Yes, and we could share information about the impact of our actions on the environment. Every little bit helps.
Do you support the idea of same-sex marriage?
Hey Abby, have you heard about the same-sex marriage bill that was passed last week?
Yeah, I heard about it. I think it's great news.
Really? I don't know, I'm not sure if I support it.
Why not?
Well, I just think that marriage should be between a man and a woman. It's just the way it's always been.
I can see where you're coming from, but I think love is love. It doesn't matter who you fall in love with.
That's a good point. I guess I just need to open my mind a bit more.
What's your take on gun control laws?
Hey Abby, what's your take on gun control laws?
I think there should be stricter laws in place. It's scary how easily accessible guns are.
I see where you're coming from, but I believe responsible gun owners shouldn't be punished because of the actions of a few.
That's true, but it's also important to consider the safety of everyone. It's not worth risking innocent lives.
I agree with that too. Maybe there needs to be a balance between protecting gun rights and implementing safety measures.
Yes, finding a middle ground is key. It's a complex issue that needs to be approached carefully. How do you feel about animal testing?
Hey Abby, have you heard about animal testing?
Yeah, I have. It's a controversial topic.
Definitely. I understand the importance of testing products for safety, but it's not fair to put animals through that.
I agree. There are so many alternatives to animal testing nowadays, like computer simulations and cell cultures.
Exactly. Plus, animals have emotions and can feel pain just like us. It's not right to subject them to that.
It's true. And sometimes the results from animal testing don't even translate to humans anyway.
Yeah, it's not a reliable method. I hope more companies start using alternatives instead.
Me too. Animals shouldn't have to suffer for our benefit. Do you think that people can change?
Hey, Abby, do you believe that people can change?
Yes, I do. People can change if they want to and if they put in the effort to do so.
I'm not so sure about that. I think some people are just set in their ways and can't change their behavior or personality.
I think that's a defeatist attitude. People can always choose to change their habits and attitudes towards others. It just takes time and effort.
I get what you're saying. I guess it's just hard for me to believe that someone can completely change who they are.
Well, maybe not completely, but even small changes can make a big difference in someone's life. So, don't give up on people just yet.
What's your opinion on the use of drugs?
Hey Abby, what's your opinion on the use of drugs?
That's a tough one. I think it depends on the drug and the situation. Some drugs can be used for medical purposes and can be beneficial, but I'm against recreational drug use.
I see your point, but do you think that people should have the right to use drugs if they want to?
Well, in my opinion, people should have the right to make their own choices, but they also need to be aware of the risks and consequences of their actions. It's important to stay informed and make responsible decisions.
That makes sense. I think education and awareness are key when it comes to drug use.
Absolutely, and it's also important to support people who may be struggling with addiction and help them get the help they need.
Do you believe in the idea of soulmates?
Hey Abby, do you believe in the idea of soulmates?
It's hard to say. I think there might be some truth to it, but I don't necessarily think there's just one person out there for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more about finding someone who compliments you and makes you happy.
Definitely. And that doesn't always happen right away. It takes time and effort to build a strong relationship with someone.
Absolutely. I think the whole idea of soulmates can put a lot of pressure on people to find the one and make them feel like they're missing out if they haven't found them yet.
Yeah, it can be a bit unrealistic. But at the same time, I do believe that some people just have a deeper connection than others.
I hear you. I guess it's all about finding what works for you and your partner.
What's your view on the importance of religion?
Hey Abby, what's your view on the importance of religion?
Well, I think it depends on the person. Some people find comfort and guidance in their religion, while others don't feel the need for it.
Yeah, I agree. Personally, I don't follow any religion, but I respect those who do.
Same here. I think it's important to respect other people's beliefs, even if we don't share them.
Definitely. Besides, religion can also bring people together and create a sense of community.
That's true. And even if we don't believe in a higher power, we can still follow ethical and moral principles that religions promote.
Exactly. So, at the end of the day, I think what matters most is how we treat others, regardless of our religious beliefs.
How do you feel about the role of technology in our lives?
Hey Abby, have you ever thought about the role of technology in our lives?
Yeah, sure. I think it's pretty important. Technology makes our lives easier and more convenient, don't you think?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But sometimes I feel like we rely on it too much. We spend so much time on our phones and computers that we forget to interact with people face to face.
I see your point, but at the same time, technology also connects us with people who are far away. Without it, we wouldn't be able to chat with our friends and family who live in different parts of the world.
That's true. I guess it's all about finding a balance between using technology to our advantage and not letting it take over our lives.
Absolutely. As long as we're aware of how much time we spend on our devices, I think technology can be a great thing.
What do you think about the concept of beauty?
Hey Abby, have you ever thought about what beauty is?
Yeah, I have. It's such a subjective concept.
Exactly. I mean, what is beautiful to one person might not be to another.
Totally. And it's not just about physical appearance. Someone's personality can make them beautiful too.
Yes, definitely. I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's different for everyone.
That's true. And I think it's important to appreciate all types of beauty.
Agreed. It's what makes the world interesting.
Do you support the idea of universal basic income?
Hey Abby, have you heard about the concept of universal basic income?
Yeah, I have. It's basically a fixed amount of money given to everyone, regardless of their job or income, right?
Yes, that's correct. The idea is to ensure that everyone has a basic standard of living, no matter what.
I think it's a great idea. It could really help people who are struggling to make ends meet.
Yeah, and it could also give people the freedom to pursue their passions and interests without worrying about making enough money to survive.
That's true. But I also worry about the cost and how it would be funded.
That's a valid concern. But I think if it's implemented correctly, it could have many benefits for society.
What's your opinion on the role of government in our lives? Hey Abby, have you ever thought about the role of government in our lives?
Yeah, I have. I think it's important for the government to provide basic services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure.
I agree with you on that. But what about personal freedom? Do you think the government should have a say in what we do with our lives?
I think there should be some regulations to protect people and the environment, but the government shouldn't be too invasive. We should be able to make our own choices as long as it doesn't harm others.
That's a good point. I think the government should also ensure that there's a level playing field for everyone, regardless of their background. It's important to have equal opportunities for success.
Absolutely. The government should work towards creating a fair and just society for everyone.
How do you feel about the idea of forgiveness?
Hey Abby, what do you think about the idea of forgiveness?
It's a tough one. But I believe forgiving someone who has wronged you can help you move on from the situation and let go of any negative feelings.
Yeah, I agree. It's not always easy, but holding grudges just weighs you down.
Exactly. Plus, forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean forgetting what happened or excusing the behavior. It just means choosing to let go of the anger or resentment towards the person who hurt you.
Yeah, forgiveness can definitely take time, but it's worth it in the end.
What's your take on the use of social media?
Hey Abby, what's your take on the use of social media?
Honestly, I think it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's a great way to stay connected with friends and family, but on the other hand, it can be addictive and can negatively impact our mental health.
Yeah, I agree. I often find myself scrolling mindlessly through Instagram or Twitter, and before I know it, hours have passed.
Exactly. Plus, there's the issue of privacy and security. We have to be careful about what we share online and who we interact with.
That's true. But I think as long as we use social media responsibly and in moderation, it can be a useful tool.
I couldn't agree more. It's all about finding that balance.
Do you believe in the idea of karma?
Hey, Abby, do you believe in the idea of karma?
Interesting question. I guess I do to some extent. I believe that every action has a consequence, and that what goes around comes around.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I think too. I've seen instances where people who did bad things eventually faced the consequences of their actions.
Exactly. But at the same time, I also believe that karma doesn't always work in a straightforward way. Sometimes good people face bad things, and bad people seem to get away with their deeds.
True, that's a good point. Maybe it's not just about the immediate consequences, but also about the overall balance of things.
Yeah, that could be it. In any case, I think it's a good idea to try to do good things and be kind to others, even if we don't always see the immediate results.
What do you think about the importance of education?
Hey Abby, have you ever thought about the importance of education?
Yeah. Man, I think it's crucial for personal and societal development.
Exactly, education provides knowledge, skills, and helps us in making informed decisions in life.
Not only that, but it gives us the ability to communicate effectively, think critically, and solve problems.
Absolutely, and it opens up opportunities for better jobs and career growth.
And let's not forget the impact it has on our economy and overall country development.
Yes, education is the foundation of progress and success.
Agreed, we should always strive to learn and improve ourselves through education.
How do you feel about the idea of censorship?
Hey Abby, have you heard about the new censorship law?
Yeah, I have. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. On the one hand, I understand why some things need to be censored, but on the other hand, it can be taken too far.
I totally agree. I think it's important to protect people from harmful content, but at the same time, censorship can limit our freedom of expression.
Exactly. I think it's a fine line to walk. We need to find a balance between protecting people and allowing for open discussion and debate.
Yeah, and it's not just about what's deemed offensive or inappropriate. Censorship can also be used to silence dissenting voices and control the narrative.
That's a really good point. I think we need to be careful about how we approach censorship and make sure it doesn't become a tool for oppression.
What's your opinion on the role of art in society? Hey Abby, what's your opinion on the role of art in society?
That's a good question. I think art plays a crucial role in society. It allows individuals to express themselves and communicate their ideas, feelings, and experiences through various media such as paintings, sculptures, music, and literature.
I agree. Art also has the power to inspire, challenge, and transform people's thoughts and beliefs. It can tackle social and political issues and raise awareness about injustice, inequality, and diversity.
Definitely. Art can also provide entertainment, pleasure, and relaxation to people. It can enhance the quality of life and contribute to mental and emotional well-being.
That's true. Art is not just a luxury or a form of decoration, but an essential part of human culture and identity.
Do you support the idea of euthanasia or assisted suicide?
Hey Abby, have you heard about the debate on euthanasia and assisted suicide?
Yeah, I have. It's a controversial topic, but I personally support it.
Really? I don't think it's right to end someone's life even if they're suffering.
But what if the person is terminally ill and has no chance of recovery? They should have the right to die with dignity, instead of living in constant pain.
I see your point, but what about the ethical concerns and the possibility of abuse?
That's why there should be strict guidelines and regulations in place. It should only be allowed in certain circumstances and with the consent of the patient.
You've given me something to think about. Maybe it's not so black and white after all.
What's your view on the importance of family? Hey Abby, how's it going?
Not bad, man, what's up?
Just wanted to pick your brain on something. What do you think about family?
Family? I think it's crucial. They're the ones who are always there for you, no matter what. I don't know where I'd be without mine.
Yeah, I feel you. I think family is super important too. They're the ones who've been with you since day one, you know? They know your quirks and flaws and love you anyway.
Absolutely. And as you get older, you start to appreciate them even more. You realize that they're the ones who will always have your back.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man, catch you later.
See ya.
How do you feel about the idea of tradition?
Hey Abby, what do you think about tradition?
That's a loaded question. I guess it depends on the tradition.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, some traditions are nice because they bring people together and create a sense of community.
Absolutely. But on the other hand, some traditions can be harmful or exclusionary.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's important to question traditions and not just blindly follow them.
Definitely. And it's also important to create new traditions that reflect our values and beliefs.
What do you think about the concept of gender equality?
Hey Abby, have you heard about the concept of gender equality?
Yeah, man, I think it's important. Everyone deserves equal opportunities regardless of their gender.
I agree, but do you think it's actually happening in our society?
Not completely, but we're moving towards it. It's important to keep talking about it, raising awareness and making changes where we can.
Yeah, I think it's becoming more of a mainstream topic, which is a good thing. I just hope we can continue progressing towards true gender equality.
Definitely, it's an ongoing process. But it starts with each one of us and our attitudes towards it.
Do you believe in the idea of aliens or extraterrestrial life?
Hey Abby, do you believe in aliens?
Aliens? Like extraterrestrial life?
Yeah, exactly that. Do you think they exist?
It's hard to say. I mean, the universe is so vast, there's gotta be something out there, right? But at the same time, we haven't found any concrete evidence yet.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But think about it, there are so many UFO sightings and encounters reported, it can't all be fake, can it?
I guess not, but it's hard to know what's real and what's not. Until we have tangible proof, I don't think we can say for sure whether aliens exist or not.
Fair enough, I see your point.
What's your opinion on the role of sports in society?
Hey Abby, what do you think about the role of sports in society?
Sports play a crucial role in our society. It promotes physical and mental health, teaches teamwork and discipline, and helps to build strong communities.
I totally agree with you. It also provides a platform for people to come together and celebrate their cultural differences, promoting unity and diversity.
Exactly. Plus, it offers a sense of belonging, and for some people, it's a way of life or a career path. Sports bring people together, and that's why they are essential in our society.
Yeah, it's amazing how a simple game can make a significant impact in our lives.
How do you feel about the idea of privacy?
Hey Abby, what do you think about privacy?
To be honest, I think it's crucial. Everyone deserves to have their own private space and information.
Absolutely agree. But these days, it feels like we're giving up our privacy for convenience. For example, all these apps that track our location and activity.
Yeah, it's kind of scary when you think about it. But at the same time, I do use some of those apps because they make my life so much easier.
I know what you mean. It's a tough balance to strike between convenience and privacy.
Definitely. I just hope that companies and governments respect our right to privacy and don't abuse the information they have access to.
Amen to that.
What's your take on the concept of time?
Hey Abby, have you ever thought about the concept of time?
Yeah, sometimes. What do you mean?
Well, it's just crazy to think that time is always moving forward, and we can't control it. Like, we can't go back in time and change something that happened.
That's true. But at the same time, time is just a human construct. It's not like it actually exists in the physical world.
Yeah, I've heard that before. But it still affects us in so many ways, like deadlines, schedules, and aging.
I think time is a valuable resource that we need to use wisely. We only have a limited amount of it, so we should make the most of it.
That's a good point. I just wish I had more of it sometimes.
Don't we all?
Do you support the idea of a global government?
Hey Abby, have you heard about the idea of a global government?
Yeah, I have. What do you think about it?
I support it. I think it would be great to have a system that could help solve global issues like climate change and poverty.
But wouldn't that take away the power from individual nations?
Not necessarily. It could still have a system of representation for each country, but with a global perspective.
I see your point. But I'm not sure if it's practical. There are so many cultural and political differences between countries.
That's true, but I think it's worth exploring. It could lead to greater cooperation and understanding between nations.
What's your opinion on the concept of justice?
Hey Abby, what's your opinion on the concept of justice?
That's a tough one. I think justice should be equal for everyone, regardless of their status.
Yeah, I agree. But do you think the justice system actually achieves that?
Not always. There are instances where people with money or power get away with crimes while the poor suffer the consequences.
Exactly. And sometimes, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. It can be too harsh or too lenient.
Yeah, that's a problem too. Ideally, justice should be fair and impartial, but it's not always the case in reality.
Yeah, that's true. It's a complicated issue.
How do you feel about the idea of beauty contests?
Hey Abby, have you seen the latest beauty contest on TV?
Yeah, I did. But I'm not really a fan of these pageants.
Really? Why not?
I feel like it objectifies women and judges them solely based on their looks. It's not fair.
I see your point. But don't you think it's just a harmless competition?
I don't think so. It puts unnecessary pressure on women to constantly look perfect, and it feeds into unrealistic beauty standards.
Okay, I get where you're coming from. But I still think some people enjoy watching them.
I guess so. But I just hope we start moving towards appreciating people for their inner beauty as well.
What do you think about the role of media in society?
Hey Abby, have you ever thought about the role of media in our society?
Yeah, I think it plays a huge role. It has the power to influence our thoughts and opinions.
Absolutely. It's scary how easily people can be manipulated by the media.
Yeah, and it's not just the news media, it's also social media. People tend to believe everything they see on their feeds.
True, but I also think the media has the power to bring important issues to light and hold people accountable.
Yeah, that's a good point. It can be a means for positive change if used correctly.
Do you believe in the idea of friendship at first sight?
Hey, Abby. How's it going?
Not too bad, thanks. How about you?
Can't complain. Say, have you ever heard of the idea of friendship at first sight?
Yeah, I have. I think it's possible to connect with someone right away and feel like you've known them for a long time.
That's exactly what I think too. It's like you just click with someone and you can't help but want to spend more time with them.
Definitely. But I also believe that true friendship takes time to develop. You need to get to know the person better and see if your values and interests align.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I still think there's something special about those instant connections.
What's your view on the importance of work?
Hey Abby, what's your view on the importance of work?
Well, I think work is really important. It gives us a sense of purpose and helps us provide for ourselves and our families.
Yeah, I totally agree. But do you think work should be the only thing that defines us?
Definitely not. I think work-life balance is crucial. We need to have hobbies and interests outside of work to keep us happy and fulfilled.
That's so true. But what about people who don't enjoy their jobs?
I think it's important to find something you're passionate about, but sometimes that's not possible. In those cases, it's important to find ways to make work more enjoyable or rewarding, like focusing on the positive aspects of the job or setting personal goals. How do you feel about the idea of multiculturalism?
Hey Abby, have you ever thought about multiculturalism?
Yeah, why not? I think it's a great idea. We can learn a lot from other cultures.
I agree. It's amazing how much we can learn from different traditions and customs. Plus, it makes our society more diverse and interesting.
Absolutely. Multiculturalism also helps us to appreciate and respect other people's beliefs and values. It's important to celebrate our differences.
Yeah, that's true. And it's not just about tolerance, it's about embracing diversity and creating a more inclusive community.
Exactly. I think we should all strive to be more open-minded and accepting of each other, regardless of our cultural backgrounds.
What's your opinion on the role of music in society?
Hey Abby, do you think music plays an important role in our society?
Absolutely. In my opinion, music is a universal language that connects people from different cultures and backgrounds.
I agree. It has the power to evoke emotions and bring people together. Music can also be a form of self-expression and a way to convey important messages about society and politics.
Definitely. I think music has the ability to shape cultural norms and can even influence fashion, language, and behavior.
That's true. And let's not forget about the economic impact of the music industry. It provides jobs for millions of people and generates billions of dollars in revenue.
Exactly. Music plays a vital role in our society and will continue to do so for generations to come.
Do you support the idea of arranged marriages? Hey Abby, have you ever thought about arranged marriages?
To be honest, I don't really support the idea. It takes away the freedom of choice.
I see your point, but in some cultures, it's a norm. Plus, parents usually have their children's best interests in mind.
I understand that, but ultimately, it's an individual's decision whom they want to spend the rest of their life with. Arranged marriages can also lead to dissatisfaction and divorce.
That's true. But I believe arranged marriages can work if both parties are willing to compromise and work on their relationship.
I guess that's a possibility, but I still prefer the idea of falling in love naturally and making my own decision.
Fair enough. Love should always be the foundation of any relationship, arranged or not.
What's your take on the concept of intelligence?
Hey Abby, what's your take on the concept of intelligence?
That's an interesting question. For me, intelligence is not just about being book smart, but also being street smart.
I agree. I think emotional intelligence is also a crucial aspect of intelligence. The ability to understand and manage one's emotions and those of others is crucial in personal and professional settings.
Absolutely. And I think intelligence is not something that is fixed. It can be developed and improved upon through learning and experience.
That's a good point. And I think intelligence can also manifest in different ways, like creativity or problem-solving skills.
Definitely. Overall, I think intelligence is a multidimensional concept that encompasses a range of abilities and skills.
What do you think about the importance of travel?
Hey Abby, do you like to travel?
Absolutely. I believe it's essential for personal growth and broadening our horizons. What about you?
I couldn't agree more. I think it's important to explore new places and experience different cultures. It helps us understand the world better.
Exactly. Plus, it's a great way to step out of our comfort zones and challenge ourselves.
Absolutely. And the memories we create while traveling last a lifetime. It's worth investing in.
Definitely. I'm already planning my next trip. How about you?
Me too. I have a list of places I want to visit. I can't wait to start ticking them off.
How do you feel about the idea of fashion?
Hey Abby, have you checked out the latest fashion trends?
Not really. I'm not that interested in fashion.
Really? I love keeping up with the latest styles and trying out new looks.
I mean, I understand the appeal, but it's just not my thing. I prefer to dress comfortably and not worry too much about what's in style.
Makes sense. But for me, fashion is a way to express myself and feel confident.
Yeah, I get that. I just don't want to spend a lot of money on clothes that I'll only wear for a season or two.
That's understandable. There are ways to stay fashionable without breaking the bank, though.
Maybe you can give me some tips sometime.
What's your view on the importance of money?
Hey Abby, what's your view on the importance of money?
That's a good question. I think money is important to a certain extent. It can help us live a comfortable life, but it shouldn't be the only thing that drives us.
I agree. Money can't buy happiness, but it can definitely make life easier. It's important to have a stable income to pay bills and provide for our families.
Absolutely, but we should also remember that money isn't everything. We should have other things in life that we value, like relationships and experiences.
That's a great point. I think balance is key. We should prioritize our values and use money as a tool to achieve them.
What's your opinion on the concept of happiness?
Hey Abby, what's your opinion on the concept of happiness?
That's a tricky one. I think everyone has a different definition of happiness, you know.
Yeah, I get that. But do you think it's achievable for everyone?
I think it's definitely achievable, but it's not a constant state. It's more like moments of happiness that you have to constantly work towards.
That's a good point. So, what makes you happy?
For me, it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing my passions, and being content with where I am in life. What about you?
I agree with you on spending time with loved ones. But for me, it's also achieving personal goals and making progress towards them that make me happy.
That's great. I think everyone should focus on what makes them happy and work towards it.
Do you believe in the idea of destiny?
Hey Abby, do you believe in the idea of destiny?
That's a tricky one. I think to some extent, yes. But I also believe that we have control over our own lives.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Sometimes it feels like things are meant to happen, but other times it's like we make our own fate.
Exactly. I think there are certain things that are out of our control, but we can still make choices that will shape our future.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like a mix of destiny and free will.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
What do you think about the role of celebrities in society?
Hey Abby, what do you think about the role of celebrities in society?
Interesting question. I think celebrities have a huge impact on society, especially on young people.
Yeah, that's true. They have a massive following on social media, and their opinions can influence a lot of people.
Exactly. But sometimes, they don't use this power in a responsible way. Like, promoting unhealthy body standards or endorsing products that are not good for people.
That's a good point. But at the same time, some celebrities use their platform to raise awareness about important issues like climate change or social justice.
Yes, that's true. They can use their influence for good. But we should also be critical of what they say and do, and not just blindly follow them.
How do you feel about the idea of patriotism?
Hey Abby, what do you think about patriotism?
I think it's important to love your country and feel proud of it.
Yeah, I agree, but sometimes it can be taken too far, you know. Like blind loyalty without questioning the government's actions.
Absolutely, blind patriotism can lead to harmful consequences. But I think it's possible to love your country and still be critical of it.
That's a good point. I guess it's all about finding a balance between love and criticism.
Exactly, it's important to recognize the good things about your country but also acknowledge its flaws and work towards improving them.
What's your take on the concept of success?
Hey Abby, what's your take on the concept of success?
That's a tough one. I think success means different things to different people.
Yeah, I agree. For some, it could be achieving financial stability, while for others, it could be personal growth.
Absolutely. I feel that it's important to define success on your terms and not what society deems as successful.
That's an interesting point. Success should be about fulfilling your passions and living a meaningful life.
Exactly. It's not just about achieving a certain status or material possessions. It's about finding happiness and fulfillment in what you're doing.
I couldn't agree more. Success is subjective, and it's up to us to define and achieve it in our own way.
Do you support the idea of animal rights? Hey Abby, have you heard about the animal rights movement?
Yeah, I have. What do you think about it?
I fully support it. Animals should have the same rights as humans. They deserve to live without being exploited or treated cruelly.
I understand where you're coming from, but I think humans should always have priority over animals. After all, we're at the top of the food chain.
But that doesn't give us the right to mistreat animals. We should be kind and compassionate towards all living beings.
I see your point. I guess it's a matter of personal beliefs and values.
Definitely. But I think we can all agree that animals deserve to be treated with respect and dignity.
What's your opinion on the role of language in society?
Hey Abby, have you ever thought about the role of language in society?
Yeah, I have. I think language is essential for communication and understanding between people.
Definitely. But it's also important for maintaining cultural identity and preserving history.
That's true. And language can also be used to exclude and discriminate against certain groups of people.
Yeah, unfortunately that happens too. But I think it's important for us to recognize the power of language and use it responsibly.
Agreed. And we should also strive to learn and appreciate different languages and cultures.
Absolutely. It can only enrich our understanding and connection with the world around us.
How do you feel about the idea of fate versus choice?
Hey Abby, what do you think about fate versus choice?
That's an interesting question. Personally, I think it's a bit of both. There are certain things that are predetermined, but we also have the power of choice to make decisions that can alter our path.
I see what you mean. But what about those who believe that everything is already predetermined by fate?
Well, I guess it's a matter of perspective. Some people find comfort in the idea that their destiny is already set, while others prefer to feel in control of their own lives.
Yeah, I can understand both sides. It's just one of those philosophical debates that can never really be fully resolved, huh?
Exactly. At the end of the day, what matters most is how we choose to live our lives, regardless of whether it's fate or choice that brought us there.